It's looking like the old gold rush, and I'll be honest, my wallet's going to be there before I will because fortunes are going to be made, and I got to be a part of that. We've got some ideas for you next. Don't you dig that? I did. All right, so move over to Facebook, or should I say Meta, because days after that company announced that they're rebranding and, of course, expanding into the metaverse, they've got some company. Microsoft unveiled their plans for a collaboration platform for virtual experiences, also a direct competitor to Meta. And so the metaverse, is it getting too crowded, or are we getting some new opportunities? I'm going to bring in Keith Fitz-Gerald. Keith, so the Microsoft plan, it sounds pretty familiar to what Facebook announced. I also want to point out NVIDIA is now emerging as a top metaverse play. That stock's up a lot today. What are your thoughts?
I tell you what, the universe, pardon the pun, is just getting started here. I'd rather go with Microsoft and NVIDIA. In fact, I've got my money in both of those companies. Facebook's under a lot of pressure. But the thing is, Charles, this is so cool. The amount of data that is going to get used and transmitted in ways that we haven't even begun to think about, companies like that are going to blossom. We're going to be doing things in 5 years that are not even beyond imagination today.
You know, I'll admit, my granddaughter, she's 9, for her 9th birthday, I did buy her the VR goggles, you know. So, I mean, listen, I think our kids, you know, if they're not in it, then they'll probably miss out on all the great stuff coming up. In the meantime, growth, acting great again. You know, it's so weird having this value growth debate. I do it because sometimes it's in the news, but I'm a growth guy myself. I know you are as well. What do you make of how it's moved into another high gear?
Well, again, you know, you got to go with the winners. I mean, people ask me about that all the time, and I put it to them this way. You know, does it make sense to stop your horse if you're winning the race and switch to the one that's losing? The answer is no. The world is going forward. Technology, as the metaverse has proved, is going to be what really shifts the ball. So you want to be with that as far as I'm concerned. If you're not interested in winning, then don't even bother going to the race.
So hashtag don't look for stock winners at the glue factory. That's essentially what you're telling me.
Exactly. The best companies are never going to go out of style. They're going to continue to set the pace. NVIDIA is a great example today. People are going to have to move huge amounts of data. Then you're going to talk about latency. So now a company like Fastly comes on, which I don't own yet. But the whole idea is you're going to have to move huge amounts of information very quickly, nearly instantaneously, in everything from new medicine, virtual operations, transactions. Shopify is another good one that's going to come into play here. So there's a lot happening, and this just opens up an entirely new horizon.
So, Keith, the earnings season has been gangbusters again. Everyone's looking at Uber after the close. Anything that's reported this quarter so far that you said, okay, you know, I want to now add to my portfolio?
You know, it's interesting because we've been ahead of this game for quite some time, but there's a bad earnings report that makes me want to go after a stock. Zillow just got pounded because it got off its base and away from its core competency. So if, in fact, shedding its iBuy, its instant buy portfolio and a part of its workforce puts it back on track, I think that company is going to rise again and, not coincidentally, come into the metaverse.
Oh, yeah. You know, it is an amazing story. I think everyone should look deeply into it. Well, there we have it. I took a lot of notes. We're going to watch you, my man, because you are really one of my best guests in all of this stuff. And I got to tell you, I'm putting my wallet in the metaverse, and I hope I never have to go in there myself. We'll talk to you again real soon.
Me too.
All right. So it's been an interesting...
Hi, it's Keith here. Thanks for checking out today's highlight clip. What'd you think? Did I make sense? Is there something you'd like to add? Make sure you leave a comment down below, and of course, click subscribe to keep up right here on YouTube, or sign up for the email newsletter at the link below. You can also find me on Twitter and Instagram for my real-time thoughts on markets, analysis, and a whole lot more.